All right, so we're going to do Cheez-Its today, and I just wanted to make a couple of changes to my recipe before we got started. This is super easy. It's our gluten-free version of a cheesy cracker snack. 5 items that go into it. It's going to be easy, easy, easy. Okay, so I have about a cup of grated sharp cheddar cheese that I've been keeping in the refrigerator for about an hour or so. So it's ice cold. We're going to add all of this here into the bowl. And I'm using my food processor. I've got a dough button on it, and it just works perfectly. I find it easier than using the mixer and way easier than trying to do it by hand. I don't think I can even do it by hand. So I've got half of a stick of butter, also cubed and frozen, along with the cheese. And then I'm going to take 1 cup of all-purpose gluten-free baking flour. Going to add that. And then half of a teaspoon of just regular table salt. And here's the tricky part. We're going to add in ice water, but we're going to do it by the tablespoon. You don't want to add too much in. So first we're going to pulse this. Now that butter and that cheese is going to start to bind very slowly with the flour. The salt obviously in there too. We want it to be almost granular, and it is. Now, through the feed tube, take 2 tablespoons. Actually, we'll go right to 4 because that was one of the adjustments I had just made on my little list. And you know what? Keep your recipe, or at least keep a notepad with you. If you have to make any changes, sometimes the temperature in the room, sometimes the equipment itself, the different brands maybe that you want to buy, are going to affect what you're making. So now I'm going to hit, that was pulsing, now I'm going to hit my dough button. First I'm going to turn it on. And it's not ready yet. And I know it's not ready yet because as soon as it starts to bind up, it's going to pull together really quick, you'll see. That was 4. I'm going to go plus 1. And then boom. Okay, so plus 2. So now we're on 6 tablespoons of water, and they're not really that level. That's 3. I know this is really exciting to watch, very riveting. I'm going to go right to 2 more. So now I'm at plus 4. So now I've doubled the ice water that I had originally started with, that I thought I was going to need. Let's see if it pulls together. Starting to, but not yet. Not ready yet. So we're going to go plus 1 more. Now we got to be careful. Now you don't want to go too crazy with the water. You're going to have to start really paying attention. You'll see in a second as it pulls together. Starting now. All right. Got shaky hands today. Alright. So that's 6 total additional tablespoons for 10 total tablespoons of ice water. Still not. Maybe like 10 after. But we're getting closer. You can see it's starting to form. I think this next one's going to whip it right into a ball. Go a full tablespoon. Make my mark. Go. Boom, done. See how that whipped right around? All right. Get this stuff out of the way. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is all I'm going to do is turn this ball of cheesy dough onto this piece of plastic. It's just regular cling film. Take my blade out. Be careful with this blade. I don't know about your kitchen, but in my kitchen, this is like the sharpest instrument there. Very dangerous. Easy to get cut. I have done it a couple of times, I hate to admit. Alright, now I'm going to get all of this. I'm going to scrape it all out of the bowl. And what I'm trying to avoid is right in the middle. And I'll show you. it's still kind of wet there in the middle. I don't want that. I'd have to almost start over, and then I would be adding a little bit of flour here, a little water there. It's not even worth it. This is a quick, easy snack. So we're going to fold it over. I'm sorry, fold the cling wrap over and then press down. Fold it over again. And now I'm just going to make basically a shape like a hockey puck. Into the refrigerator for 1 hour. Once it cools way down, we're going to pull it out. Flour our surface a little bit. Lay it out. Cut it into strips similar to what you would see in a Cheez-It. Bake it in the oven for about 15-16 minutes. So we'll see you back here in about an hour. Alright, so it's been about an hour. So we're going to get our dough out of the refrigerator. Nice and firm. So it's going to get messy in here. We're going to get a little bit of flour on the surface. So wedding ring off, apron on. Here we go. Now, you just want to lightly dust the work surface. You don't need a lot. It's a bigger mess to clean up. Plus, it's going to make the crackers too dry. I know you want dry for the crackers, but trust me. All right, and we're going to take about half of the dough first. We'll lightly dust our fingers. And we're just going to press it out. Almost like we would with a pizza, pie dough, that kind of thing. And lift it up. See how I got a little bit sticky down there? Bring some of this flour back in. Maybe you got to do your hands once or twice. But always use less when you start out. You can always increase. It's harder to take it away, obviously. Okay, so now I'm going to put it all over there. Now I'm going to use my rolling pin. I'm going to dust that. And I'm trying to get these to about 1/4 inch. Ideally, I want to keep it all together. But when you do something like this homemade, unless you've got all the right equipment, you're probably going to have some pieces that are going to be thinner. They're actually going to be crunchier. They're the ones that I prefer. I know my kids like the ones that are thicker and chewier. So I guess it's all a matter of taste. So as I roll this out, looking for that uniformity. We're just about there now. Now it's starting to come onto my rolling pin. Don't forget, you got a lot of butter, a lot of cheese. So make sure you keep your pin well floured. All right. So it's not a perfect rectangle, I realize that. But it's close enough for what we're going to do. All right. Now I'm just going to take one of our pizza cutters, our pizza wheel. I'm going to try to do it about 1.5 inches. I'm just going to make a grid pattern here. That stuff I'll just leave off to the side. And then we're going to go back this way. I've got my oven already preheated on 375. These are going to cook for just about 15 minutes. Now, I like to make it look authentic. So I take a bamboo stick. I'm going to use the back side of the bamboo stick, or chopstick, to make my authentic looking hole in the center. So I'm just transferring these squares to my pan. Using the spatula because sometimes it will get soft and wet on the bottom underneath. So we're going to pull it up with the spatula, get it onto the sheet pan, and then we'll worry about breaking them apart. You can actually sometimes even wait until after they've cooked if you want to do that. Although I've done that a couple of times and they will crumble. You won't get a nice even break. You can also flour up your spatula. Makes it a little bit easier to get under there. All right. Now I'm going a little bit fast. You don't need to go quite so fast. There's always the danger of squishing them when you go too fast. definitely wet on the bottom here. They're a little bit harder to get off of the counter than I like. All right. They're not wet, they're moist. Every woman I know hates that word. I don't know why. Okay, now, I've got them on my tray. I'm going to break them all apart. Some of these, they're just going to fall apart. We still have this other half to do, don't forget. Just put it over there. We'll deal with that in a minute. Break these guys down. Now you want to give them room on the pan. I could fit them all on this pan, but they'd be so close. I want to make sure that they dehydrate a little bit in there. So I don't really want them on top of each other and pressed right against each other. Now I take my bamboo stick or my chopstick and I just quick hole in each one of these. Whoop. Edit that out. All right. And then our last step is I want to sprinkle some salt. I want to put the salt on before they go in the oven. So as it cooks down and that cheese starts to come out, the salt's just going to cook right down into it. I'm going to keep that one just like that. Just a little pinch of salt. All over the whole thing. Try to get each one of them. Just touch more. And there we go. Okay, in our oven, 15 minutes. Do not forget, set your timer. 15 minutes. Now, it may not be done in 15 minutes. It may need to cook a little bit longer. But 15 minutes is going to be your bare minimum. 375 degrees. You can go as high as 16, 18 minutes, maybe even 20, depending on the kind of oven you have. But remember, you're trying to just dehydrate them. You don't want them to be chewy, and you don't want them to be hard like peanut brittle. So we'll give that the time to cook, and we'll come back and see how they look. Stick around. All right. Now that's 15 minutes. Oh, they look perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. Oh, yeah, that's nice. Look at that. So the thinner ones definitely crisp up a lot more, obviously. And the thicker ones, they're still a little bit soft to my liking. But like I said, my kids like them that way. So I've got the other tray. I'm going to go ahead and drop these in. Another 15 minutes. All right, now the last step on these, pretty easy, is when they cool, I want to let them air dry. I want to get that air circulating on the top and the bottom. So I put them on this little bread rack. You can let them sit in the pan. I find that the ones that are thicker, that are already kind of soft and chewy, are just going to stay soft and chewy. This way helps them get a little bit more dry. Let me try one. That is a perfect snack. Nice crunch, just enough salt. It plays off that cheddar cheese. You can barely even taste the butter. Excellent. Kids are going to love these. It only took actual cooking time, what? 15 minutes to cook, another 10, 15 minutes to prep, an hour in the refrigerator. Easy thing to do when you're at home one day, and a great snack for the whole rest of the week, if they last that long. So there you have gluten-free cheesy crackers or Cheezits. Thank you guys for watching. Come on back soon. And don't forget, the only food we eat here is free food. Thanks.